Yes, thank you. Hello, I'm Thomas Geiser, Development Review Technician for the Town Portola Valley Building and Planning Department, and I will be presenting the application for a vehicular entry gate at 235 Willowbrook. Allow me to share my screen. This will be a quick presentation of the project details, public noticing, and approval conditions for such a project. After my presentation, Ms. Stinson and or her team will have the opportunity to share to the ASCC any information they believe I have missed that will be of value to the deliberation of this project. ASCC commissioners will have the opportunity to ask any clarifying questions to me or the applicant, followed by their deliberation. Onto the project at hand, architectural site control, architectural review of a vehicular entry gate at 235 Willowbrook. Why is this project being brought to the ASCC? Portola Valley Municipal Code Section 1842-16C states entryway features that require a building permit are subject to the approval of the ASCC. Although that this project does not include any electrification, it has been the interpretation of the ASCC that all entry gate applications be brought to the committee for review and approval. Here we have a vicinity map of the project area or the parcel and project area. As you can see in blue is the parcel of 235 Willowbrook. And the gold star is where the approximate location of the entry gate will be is being proposed. This is a residential estate 1 acre district only zoning district and is surrounded by only residential uses. The parcel size is slightly over 1 acre and is very flat at an average slope of 7.7%. The two large parcels on the left side of the map include the Sequoia retirement community, as well as a parcel of land preserved by the Mid-Peninsula Open Space District. 235 Willowbrook does not share a common property line or border with these two properties. The entry gate will be placed slightly more than 25 feet away from the front property line, which is 1/2 of the front setback of 50 feet, which is required by all entry gates under our fencing ordinance. It will be 12 feet in length, 4 feet in height, connect to existing fencing, as well as additional fencing has been proposed to make sure that the existing fencing connects with the entry gate setback. The entry gate will be made of unpainted redwood and galvanized wire, consistent with the design of the existing fencing on the property. This complies with our fencing ordinance's 50% opacity limit. No call box has been proposed at time of submittal, so this will be hand operated. Notices for this project was sent out on November 3rd, 2023 to neighbors within 300 feet of this property. Only one public comment was received in support of the project. An adjoining neighbor from across, sorry, not an adjoining neighbor, a neighbor across the street. The following principles shall be followed by residents, town planning staff, and the ASCC when considering fence permit applications, as well as entry gate applications. Fences should be designed with consideration to open space tradition of Portola Valley. Fences should be used sparingly in order to preserve a sense of shared scenic resources of the community. Fences should be designed with respect to the movement of wildlife and protection of views, and materials in the design should blend in with the natural environment and maintain the natural and rural ambiance of Portola Valley. Lastly, the ASCC should consider the staff's report and presentation, applicant's comment, and the public comments for this fence permit application for the vehicular entry gate application. Staff has included draft conditions of approval, attachment 1, if the ASCC wishes to approve this project or approve this proposal. This concludes my presentation. I will now leave it to the applicant team if they wish to speak on any design features of this project that might aid in the ASCC's deliberation of this application.
First of all, do we need to have commission questions?
Yeah, typically, we would have a chance to ask Thomas questions at this point,
Yeah.
right?
So, do any of the commissioners have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Does this gate actually require a permit?
It is our interpretation that entry gates that require electrification, any sort of structural design choices, say like an overhang or any sort of feature that might require additional sets of plans. We do not believe that this particular application requires a building permit, considering that it will be hand moved or hand powered, sorry.
Okay, thanks.
And I have no questions, so we hand over to the applicant for his presentation now. Thank you.
Take it
Oh.
out.
I'm so sorry. We do actually need you on the mic just for minutes and for those that are watching from home. Thank you. Sounds good.
All right. Good evening. My name is Andrew Young, and I'm the architect for this project. I've had the pleasure of working with Liz Stinson for the last several months on the design and construction of her front fence. I thank Thomas for his time and preparation of this report. It really saves me the need to actually make a presentation. I think he pretty thoroughly covered everything. I'd make one correction perhaps is that the setback of this vehicular gate is actually 60 feet to 50 feet, not just over 25 feet. Its proximity to the redwood trees up front, we wanted to pull the driveway back further to simplify any interruptions with the redwood tree roots. And so it's been set back a little further. Other than that, I'm available for any questions you may have, and thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Chung, do you have any questions of the applicant?
You just answered the question.
All right. Commissioner Flynn?
You said 60 feet? It's been pulled back 60 feet?
Yes, so if you project the two lines, if you wouldn't mind just going back to the site, Thomas.
But the proposed site plan is accurate.
Yes, the drawing is accurate. The drawing is accurate, but the comment about how far the front vehicular fence setbacks from the front property line was mentioned in the report as just being just over 25 feet. But in fact, in this drawing we showed there, the one dimension on the left is 44 feet, but that's actually to the fence. The gate itself in question is the element that's further back. And if you take the two distances there, it's 52 feet on one side and 67 feet on the other side. So an average of probably closer to 57 or 58 feet setback.
And just for my edification, the proposed site plan, I mean, all these trees were documented, all this, the house was documented. Is there some plan to change the property itself?
No, nothing at
All this was done just for this fence,
Amazingly, yes, it was.
for a fence that doesn't require a building permit. Okay, okay,
She's recently purchased a property, and so there are considerations about what she might do about the whole property development. So a lot of these efforts were in thinking towards that end goal. But in the meantime, she has a sweet little dog that's like my dog. And the moment it sees anything else, it just bolts. And so she's been wanting to get something secure on the front. But so it was a good effort. But I must say, as an architect, I haven't had the opportunity to go into such detail on a fence and gate designs.
All right. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Flynn. Commissioner Sill,
No questions.
and I have no questions. All right. Okay, so we move on to comments from the public on this application.
We have one attendant or one participant online. However, they do not have their hand up. And two people in the audience.
10 seconds in case somebody's burning to ask questions. We did. Okay. All right, in that case, I'll close public comment for this section and move on to the commission for discussion. Commissioner Flynn, if you'd like to go first.
I don't see any problems with this, and I guess I've kind of suggested this several times without being obvious, but I don't feel that this needed really to come before us. That's my feeling. I think could have been ministerially approved, given that there's no electricity and whatnot, and it doesn't require building permits, so.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Flynn. Commissioner Chung.
I agree with Commissioner.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Chung. Commissioner Sill.
I also agree with Commissioner Flynn. I think that this proposal makes a lot of sense. It's a good design. Fits in, no issues at all with it. Looks good.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Sill. Right, I agree with Commissioner Chung, Commissioner Flynn, and Commissioner Sill, and I don't see any problems with this project at all. So let's have the applicant.
So thank you for the comments. One thing in terms of the electrification of the gate, our client chose to simplify the process and not delay it further, to remove the whole concept of doing the electrification, and said she wouldn't mind getting out of her car twice a day or whatever to open the gate. Should we decide to add that, I would like to have it properly approved. What would be the means? Would you have the authority to add that as a condition that should we come back for the need for electrification, that it could be a simple building permit submittal as opposed to coming back to the ASCC at that time?
I'll hand that over to Thomas.
That is a good question. I believe the commission or the ASCC should have the power to include in the conditions of approval that additional electrification is approved by the body. I would also just want to speak with the planning and building director because it was his, former building and planning director, Laura Russell, who made the interpretation and was the one that advised me to bring this project to the ASCC. It was originally my interpretation that we would not have to bring this entry gate to the ASCC because it had no electrical components. However, it was under her advice to bring this to the ASCC regardless due to the ASCC's past experience with these entry gate applications.
All right. The only thing I would comment on would be that we do not like lights at the entry gate.
Right, so I think that we should be able to add a condition that electrification in the future would be okay, given that there were no lights.
That's
Associated
fine.
with
That'd
it.
be great. And the whole process has been worth its while. So there's no, as far as coming in front of this board, it's always nice to get your eyes on these things anyway. So.
All right. All right, thank you. So, Commissioner Still, would you be prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve this proposal with the conditions recommended by staff, with the addition of a condition that says that in the event that the applicant would like to electrify the gate in the future, that would be something that could be approved by the planning staff as long as there's no lighting associated with that modification.
So that it didn't need to come back before us.
Right.
Right.
Got it.
All right, second. Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
All right.
So now we move on to commission staff, committee reports and recommendations. So, commission reports, does anybody have anything?
Helped a little bit, not a whole bunch, on the final building inspection for 228 Westridge. And my role was just to talk about the few little redwoods down at the base of the base of the property that you're so fond of. And we decided that it still needed a little work to look a little less linear and a little bit more natural. So the idea was they need to add one more tree in there to make it look more amorphous and not so linear. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. I knew you'd love that.
Mm.
So another option would have been to take one out, but the ones that are there are quite healthy, and the objective was just to make it look more natural, and it could be made more natural either way. So the way we chose to make it more natural was to add one more as opposed to taking one out. And then you may have other things that you'd like to add on that project, but that was the level of involvement from commissioners.
Right, I did the final planning inspection, so Al did join me for one inspection. We took a look at the existing grouping of redwoods, determined that there was one missing, and Al made a recommendation to ensure that it had a more non-linear, more random look. And I came back for a final, and there the tree was, and everything looked good. So we're signed off on that project.
Commissioner Flynn, did you have any?
I've been given 3 Hillbrook to approve, and I'm still working on it.
Commissioner Chung?
No, I didn't have any.
I did have one, I think it's 658 Westridge, where they'd asked for a 3,000 square foot deck, and some additional skylights, and the skylights, I recommended that they had shades because it's that house that dips into the gully looking over Jasper Ridge. And I asked if they could come back with a less expensive decking plan. Because 3,000 square feet over that gully, I thought it was. So I think that one's still in process. Okay, so I think that one's still going on. All right, so that's the end of the commission reports, and we'll hand over to the staff report.
No staff report as such. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself, say hello. I've been with the town. My name's Adrienne Smith. I'm the senior planner with the town. I've been here since July 2021. I was brought on to work on the housing element. I worked very closely with our former director, Laura Russell, on that. Housing element continues to hum along. We're getting there. And but in the meantime, we're thinking about transitioning me into some current planning roles. So the idea was for me to take over as staff contact on behalf of Laura, and she could transition out of that. So we indeed have our interim director, John Biggs, right now, but he's not actually a full-time right now. He has a limited number of contract hours that he's got for us. So it made sense for me to get going and pop into the role. So I should be the staff representative from now on. So it's nice to see everyone, and I look forward to it.
Great.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Right, in that case, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for August the 28th. 2023.
Make a move to approve the minutes. There seems-
I thought there was an issue with the minutes. If you read through them, there's 3 different projects that were discussed in that meeting.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the last of the 3 was the one on Santa Maria. And there was the person that was the applicant on that project was a guy named Bylens. But he shows up, his name shows up in both of the other 2 projects, as though he was the requester or the architect or something. So somehow there was something that happened in terms of who is being referred to, because he was only on one of the projects, but he shows up in all 3 of them in terms of he's referred to.
Got it.
Right. No, he only was involved in one of the projects. So that's the only issue I saw. The minutes looked fine besides that, but I did think that was a little unusual.
Sounds like an error.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So shall we leave approval of these minutes?
Oh, we should, yeah. we should
Indeed,
take-
yeah.
yeah.
Well, if we're not voting on them today, do we need public comment?
Oh, I mean,
I
we could
guess.
vote on
I
it
guess.
with just that correction.
Right, if you don't think they need to come back and we can make the correction as directed.
Yeah.
Then that would be fine. We can make them. After getting public
Yeah.
comment. Yep.
Right.
Right, let's open public comment for the minutes. then.
Sorry that that it felt within my forward, and so many gaps. that I had to be missing the person. So I was here now, and I was sorry I didn't get it. Thank you for your work. The board. Good work. It's probably not appropriate for me to.
Do we have any other,
Liaison should be.
do we have any other public comment about the minutes?
We only have 1 attendee on Zoom. They do not have their hand up for public comment.
Right. In that case, I'll close public comment and come back to the commission for approval of the minutes with the
Okay.
addition, with the alteration.
Right.
Yeah, so I would
Including the
move that we
date.
approve.
Including the date.
Because it's listed as August
Right.
28th. The whole packet is August 28th.
Yeah, so yeah, I would move that we approve the minutes with the correction to Mr. Byland showing up in multiple places and the date of the meeting.
I have to abstain because I wasn't here at the
Oh,
meeting.
I
You don't really
second.
have to abstain. You can vote.
Well, we don't
Yeah.
need that.
Right, right, but you know, occasionally we do, it, but yeah,
I'll abstain, just
All
to be on
right.
the safe side.
Fair enough.
we gotta have. a
I second.
Okay,
All those in favour?
I,
One abstention.
Okay, 3 in favor, 1 abstention. Got it. Thank you.
All right, I think that might be a record,
I think that is a record.
a meeting adjournment.
Hey, Adrian, you're off to an incredible start. You are good at this.